Hello everyone. In this video tutorial, I would like to speak a little bit about correlation in Load Complete, both automatic correlation and manual correlation. So, first of all, what is correlation? Correlation is the act of finding dynamic values passed from the server that need to be sent back to the server in subsequent requests and replacing that value with a variable. The reason for that is each time a user logs into the server, those values will be different. If we didn't replace them with a variable, then every time you ran a load test, you'd be using the same values that were passed from the server when you recorded the test, and that wouldn't work. In automatic correlation, Load Complete uses rules and algorithms to analyze requests and responses and correlate dynamic parameters that it finds automatically. So that's a great thing, makes your life a lot easier, except there are some things that can be auto-correlated and some things that cannot. So, an example of parameters that Load Complete is able to correlate automatically. So the parameter, it has to be contained in an HTTP or WebSocket request or response. Some examples might be URLs, post form fields, or cookies. The parameter has to have the same name and value in both the response and subsequent requests. Otherwise, Load Complete is not sure that this is something that needs to be correlated or that it's even related and won't do anything with it. And, of course, you have to use that parameter in at least one response within that same scenario. Otherwise, why correlate it at all? A couple of examples would be session IDs and user IDs. There are also things like view state and event argument values in ASP.NET applications. There are links to assembly resources that are represented by AXDs, OAuth access tokens, database record identifiers, etc. Parameters that are not correlated automatically are things like dynamic parameters that have different names in responses and requests, dynamic parameters that have the same name but different values in responses and requests, and parameters that reside in semantic URLs. An example of a semantic URL is shown here with my website products list ID 314. That ID 314 is what is changing, and that is what would need to be correlated. Now, just because Load Complete doesn't correlate that automatically doesn't mean that you can't correlate it manually. You can. And you can also create rules so that that's auto-correlated in the future. Now, I'm going to draw a little chart here and show you, hopefully, clearly what's really going on. So, an example is you're getting a session ID from the server. The server sends you a value. Here's a value right here, 235HK, etc. And it's called your session. In a subsequent request to the server, you need to send my session equals 235HK, etc. And so how do we do that? The answer is you replace the value that was received with a variable called @session. And then when the server sends the new value, when your test is running, it'll be placed into @session. Later in that same session, when you send requests, they'll use the same variable and hence the same value. And everything works. Thank you very much. Talk to you next time.